It's a searing and gut-wrenching, it's a very acidic black comedy, is what I would say.
Right.
Wrapped in a very tight rope.
Marrying a billionaire is a big deal to many people, and Ellen Barkin is no exception. When the marriage to her billionaire husband ended, she sued him because he had promised her a life of wealth. This broke the hearts of some people. They see them as a Hollywood power couple who loved genuinely and not because of money. In this video, we will look into the love story of Ellen Barkin and her partners. Ellen Barkin's love life and marriage to her first husband. Ellen Barkin's off-screen life is as fascinating as her Hollywood career. She is known for her sharp wit and fiery personality and has had her fair share of high-profile romances. However, one relationship stood out: her marriage to billionaire businessman Ron Perelman, which captured public attention due to its glamour and accompanying drama. However, before becoming involved with Ron Perelman, Ellen Barkin had experienced love and heartbreak in Hollywood. Her first marriage was to Irish actor Gabriel Byrne. The two met in the late 1980s and quickly fell in love. At the time, people felt they were moving too fast, but the truth is that the heart knows what it wants. Besides, the length of dating in a relationship does not always determine the success of it. The pair met at a film audition and immediately knew they had something in common. According to reports from People magazine, Barkin was drawn to Byrne's quiet confidence and Irish charm, while he was captivated by her fiery personality and intelligence. The two quickly became inseparable as their relationship kept growing day by day. Eventually, the pair got married in 1988 and had two children, Jack and Romy. Their marriage was full of passion. Ellen's outspoken and sometimes brash nature complemented Byrne's more reserved and contemplative demeanor. Despite their contrasting temperaments, they shared a deep respect for each other's craft and supported their careers wholeheartedly. Byrne once said in an interview, "Ellen is one of the most brilliant women I've ever met. She challenges me intellectually every day." The couple welcomed their first child, John Jack Daniel, in 1989. 3 years later, Romy Marion was born. Parenthood seemed to deepen their bond, with both actors expressing their joy in raising a family together. Byrne, who had always been deeply connected to his Irish roots, instilled a love for Ireland in their children by taking frequent trips to Dublin. Throughout the early 90s, they balanced their demanding careers with family life as they were often seen together at industry events. Many people admired their lives together as they appeared as one of Hollywood's most sophisticated couples. However, despite their seemingly perfect partnership, cracks began to emerge. Before we go further, let's look at her life before Hollywood. Ellen Barkin's rise to fame. Ellen Barkin is one of Hollywood's most talented and versatile actresses, known for her striking looks, unique voice, and intense on-screen presence. Her journey to fame wasn't an overnight success. If there is anything Ellen has today regarding work, she labored hard for them. Ellen Rona Barkin was born on the 16th of April 1964 in the Bronx, New York. Her mother, Evelyn, was a hospital administrator, and her father, Saul Barkin, was a chemical salesman. She came from a family that valued hard work. Growing up, Ellen showed a keen interest in the arts and attended the High School of Performing Arts in Manhattan, the same school that inspired the movie Fame. After high school, she pursued a degree in history and drama at Hunter College. At first, she considered becoming a history teacher, but ultimately, her passion for acting won out. She spent several years studying at the prestigious Actors Studio in New York City and honing her craft under well-respected acting coaches' guidance. Like many aspiring actors, Barkin took on small roles in theater productions and off-Broadway plays while waiting for her big break. Along the line, she also worked as a waitress to support herself. In an interview with the New York Times, she recalled, "I spent years doing small theater productions, thinking I would never get anywhere, but I loved acting too much to give up." Ellen Barkin's first notable role came in 1982 when she was cast in a movie titled Diner. It was a film about young men getting used to adulthood in Baltimore. The film was a success, with Ellen as a frustrated wife dealing with her immature husband. Her acting prowess caught the attention of critics and audiences alike. Roger Ebert praised her work and writing. Barkin brings a raw honesty to her role that elevates the film's emotional core. Eventually, Diner became a cult classic, and for Ellen, it was the role that opened doors in Hollywood. Over the next few years, she built an impressive resume by starring in films like Tender Mercies, which was released in 1918-3, opposite Robert Duvall. She won the Academy Award for Best Picture and The Big Easy, 1918-6, a steamy crime thriller where she played a tough New Orleans district attorney alongside Dennis Quaid. Her role in The Big Easy showed her as someone who didn't come to Hollywood to play. She meant business, and soon, she became a sought-after leading lady. Now that we know how Ellen Barkin got here, let's continue with her love story. The divorce and its aftermath. By the mid-1990s, the pressures of Hollywood and conflicting career paths began to take a toll on the marriage of Ellen and Byrne. Rumors made rounds in tabloids like the National Enquirer and Vanity Fair that their relationship was under strain due to long periods of separation. As both actors were frequently on different film sets, Byrne's preference for a more low-key, introspective lifestyle clashed with Ellen's love for the spotlight and the fast-paced social scene of New York and Los Angeles. In 1999, after over a decade of marriage, the couple officially divorced. The split was amicable, with both parties publicly stating their commitment to co-parenting their children. In an interview with The Guardian, Byrne spoke highly of Ellen, saying, "We were great together, and we remain great friends. Some things just don't work out the way you expect them to." Ellen also had similar sentiments in Vogue because she emphasized their mutual respect and priority on their children's well-being. Unlike other divorces in Hollywood, where once out of love, couples fight dirty over property or even children, Ellen and Byrne ensured their split was as amiable as possible. At some point, people started feeling they were too perfect for each other and should have worked things out no matter what. These people didn't know that no couple ever decides to end things without an important reason. It's the same in the case of Ellen and her ex. The only difference is that they refused to launder their dirty linen publicly. They knew they still needed a degree of friendship to effectively cater to their children's needs. However, despite the amicable front, rumors persisted. There were speculations from media houses who just needed to publish news for their clientele. One of the issues they pushed as responsible for the breakup was Ellen's growing involvement in high-profile social circles. They said she was friends with Hollywood elites, especially those no longer married. According to these people, she fell into the wrong crowd and consequently was influenced by them. A few years later, Barkin began dating billionaire investor Ron Perelman. We will talk extensively about her relationship with this billionaire shortly, but it contrasts with the reserved and artistic Byrne. With this development, Byrne reportedly remained cordial, but kept his distance because he understood boundaries. Not only that, he refused to grant interviews concerning his ex-wife. Other men would have started a mudslinging campaign to get to their partners, but Byrne chose a different route by keeping his private life out of the tabloids. Instead, he focused on making more money in a bid to be there for his two children when the need arose. Again, Ellen and his new partner lived an enviable life for some years before they called it quits 6 years later. The media had a field day when Barkin and Perelman's marriage ended in a highly publicized and bitter divorce in 2006. According to the New York Post, Perelman unceremoniously ended the marriage by sending Ellen a divorce notice via email. The ensuing legal battle was ugly, with Barkin suing Perelman for $40 million, claiming he had promised her financial security for life. During this turbulent time, many speculated that Byrne may have found some quiet satisfaction in the downfall of Ellen's high-profile second marriage. Entertainment Weekly noted that Byrne, ever the gentleman, never publicly commented on the matter. Still, insiders suggested that he had always been skeptical of her relationship with Perelman because he viewed it as more transactional than romantic. Despite all the post-divorce drama, Byrne and Ellen maintained a strong and supportive friendship mainly for their children's sake. In a 2016 interview, Barkin revealed, "Gabriel is one of my best friends. We were young, we grew up together, and we made 2 amazing kids. That's what matters." Byrne, too, remained solid in his respect for Barkin, even as he moved on with his life. In 2014, he married producer Hannah Beth King. However, their relationship was far more private than his previous marriage. Conversely, Ellen continued to make headlines for her sharp-tongued interviews and social activism. Ellen Barkin's love life and marriage to a billionaire. Ellen Barkin and Ronald Perelman's love story was glamorous, passionate, and full of surprises. To many, it was straight out of a Hollywood movie. Perelman is a billionaire investor and philanthropist best known as the chairman of Revlon and one of the most powerful businessmen in America. He had been married multiple times before, including to socialite Claudia Cohen and actress Patricia Duff. Barkin and Perelman met through mutual friends at a high-profile New York event in the 1999. The chemistry between them was instant. It would seem Ellen's kind of marriage does not like to waste time. If you recall, this was the same modus operandi with the father of her kids. With her sharp humor and bold personality, Ellen was unlike the usual women Perelman had dated. Her intelligence and confidence captivated him, while she was drawn to his power and charm. However, many people believed the point of attraction was his money. They began dating shortly after they met, and their romance became a hot topic in celebrity circles. Perelman lavished Barkin with extravagant gifts, including rare jewelry and luxurious vacations. Friends of the couple described their relationship as intense and passionate. In a 2007 interview with Vanity Fair, Ellen recalled their early days, saying, "Ronald was incredibly charming. He knew how to make a woman feel special." In 2000, Ellen Barkin and Ronald Perelman tied the knot in a lavish but private ceremony. The wedding was attended by celebrities, business moguls, and high society figures. With this marriage, Barkin became one of the most talked about women in Hollywood and New York's elite circles. Life as Perelman's wife was luxurious beyond imagination. They lived in an opulent townhouse on Manhattan's Upper East Side, attended exclusive galas, and traveled the world in private jets. Ellen, who was already successful in Hollywood, was now a part of America's financial aristocracy. They publicly appeared at high-profile events, including Met Galas and charity fundraisers. They were the typical Hollywood power couple. Ellen's fashion choices, especially her dazzling jewelry collection gifted by Perelman, were frequently covered by Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. They made other wives jealous to the point where they started mounting pressure on their husbands to get them similar stuff. Despite the extravagant lifestyle, Ellen maintained her independent streak. She continued acting and producing. She refused to be the typical billionaire's wife who does nothing but look good for all occasions. She even told the New York Times in 2006, "I was never the type of woman to sit on the sidelines." The media widely covered Barkin and Perelman's relationship, with some outlets portraying it as a real-life Cinderella story. You know, an actress from the Bronx marrying one of the richest men in America. Others, however, speculated about the power situation in their marriage. People magazine once described their relationship as a mix of old Hollywood romance and Wall Street dominance. However, the New York Post was more skeptical, as it reported on Perelman's history of turbulent relationships and hinted at possible trouble in paradise. At first, the public seemed enchanted by their high-profile romance, but over time, rumors of tension surfaced. Barkin was known for her strong-willed nature, while Perelman was notorious for being controlling in his relationships. Their marriage, which started as a fairy tale, eventually took a different turn, ending in one of the most talked-about divorces in Hollywood and business circles. Raising their children. While Ellen Barkin and Ronald Perelman had a high-profile marriage, their children remained relatively private. Remember, Barkin had 2 children from her previous marriage to actor Gabriel Byrne. As for Perelman, who has been in numerous relationships, his number of children is almost equal to that of his women. Even though they grew up in a world of wealth, influence, and Hollywood fame, Barkin and Perelman's children had different paths to embracing or avoiding the spotlight. Jack and Romy were raised between 2 very different worlds, one where their mother was a celebrated actress and the business elite, and one where their stepfather, Ronald Perelman, dominated the financial industry. As for Perelman's children from a previous marriage, one of them is Deborah Perelman, born from his marriage to Faith Golding. Another is Samantha Perelman, the daughter from his marriage to Claudia Cohen, who later made headlines for a legal battle over inheritance. Although Barkin and Perelman didn't have children together, Jack and Romy were closely intertwined with their mother's marriage to the billionaire. They were exposed to the privileges and challenges of growing up in a powerful family. Jack and Romy Byrne grew up in an environment of extreme privilege since they were surrounded by Hollywood stars, business moguls, and high society figures. While their mother was an outspoken independent actress, their stepfather was one of the richest men in America. Their childhood was filled with luxury, private schools, lavish vacations, and access to the most exclusive events in New York and Los Angeles. Since they were both young when their mother married Perelman, they lived in Perelman's Grand Manhattan townhouse, often frequented by celebrities and influential figures. Even with this, Ellen worked hard to instill a sense of discipline in their lives. She never wanted her children to become entitled or disconnected from the real world. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Ellen said, "I wanted them to know that life isn't just about private jets and dinner parties. Hard work matters." Their children, Romy and Jack Byrne, today. Romy Byrne studied acting at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, a prestigious program for aspiring actors. Over the years, Romy has taken on roles in independent films and TV series. Today, by all means, she has made a name for herself. Though she hasn't reached a list status like her mother, she is building a respectable career in the industry. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Romy talked about her mother's influence. "She always told me that being an actor isn't about fame, it's about telling great stories. That's what I want to do." Regarding relationships, Romy has been linked to a few Hollywood personalities. However, she keeps her relationships mostly private. While she enjoys social events and has been spotted at exclusive gatherings, she doesn't actively seek the media attention that many celebrity children attract. Romy started trying her hands at acting and modeling when she was 22 years old. With her striking hazel eyes, sharp cheekbones, and flowing chestnut hair, she was the perfect model candidate who didn't have to try too hard to turn heads. As the daughter of Hollywood stars Gabriel Byrne and Ellen Barkin, she was on the books of the prestigious Ford models. However, Romy defies the traditional mold of a model. How so? Other girls whose mothers are as accomplished as Ellen would be thrilled to rummage through their mother's wardrobes and do a special type of shopping known as raid. Rather than reaching for high-end designer pieces from her mother's endless collections, Romy prefers to sport a pair of vintage Levi's from a California flea market. When asked about her dream modeling gig, she quickly offers a surprising response like, "Shooting for a chair catalog, something that pays mad money but where nobody would see me." The simple explanation would be that she is shy, but that's far from the case. On the contrary, Romy embodies a rare anti-celebrity who values her independence and time away from the spotlight. In her words, "I am so independent." She went on to reveal her love for solitude and personal space. A part-time poet once said, "Everyone comes up with their best stuff when they're alone." That could just be the case with the beautiful Romy. Despite her famous family background, Romy has kept a relatively low profile. Instead of frequenting glamorous spots, she's focused on honing her craft as an actress. At one point, she took up training with a coach for roles she hoped to dive into, including one she was particularly passionate about, Lady Macbeth. Even though she eventually admitted that Shakespeare is freaking hard, Romy is not keen on discussing her parents, childhood, or even her brief experience working with rapper Talib Kweli. Instead, she prefers to talk freely about other passions. She avidly loves 90s hip-hop, naming Method Man as her favorite rapper. That's not all. She is proud of her older brother Jack, who plays in the band The Dough Rollers, alongside Harrison Ford's son, Malcolm. She said, "Spending so much time with them is probably how I got into music," when she was explaining her natural connection to the world of sound. When she's not working on her acting or delving into music, Romy is dedicated to her love of reading. She believes it's impossible to act without a relationship with literature. This particular bit is true in many ways. Whatever you intend to recreate, you have to be committed to investing in it. She also talked about how much books have shaped her creative process. As for fitness, she's devoted to her regular gym workouts and enjoys making mixtapes for her friends. Romy is not exactly picky about food. She will eat anything to show her adventurous attitude toward food. While she may not be the typical Hollywood offspring, Romy embraces her social media presence. Her Instagram is a mix of quirky, sometimes nonsensical images, from half-closed eyes to pictures of a pink squirrel. Despite her playful approach to the platform, Romy's social media savvy has helped her land commercial jobs. Once she acknowledged this part of her, it's definitely advantageous. People can find you, and you can totally express yourself on one little page. If you want to get to know Romy Byrne better, you would not have to scroll too much on Instagram. As for her older brother, Jack Byrne, he has built a respectable music career by performing in indie circles and working on creative projects outside the mainstream. Even though he seems to be taking a break now, the 36-year-old is tirelessly working on changing the world with his music. In all honesty, this is not unusual. There are many Hollywood stars whose children have ventured into the music world. One popular example is Will Smith's son, Jaden. At some point, Jack was the frontman of the Dough Rollers, a blues band with a distinctive supergroup-like vibe. The band, which also features Harrison Ford's son Malcolm, made serious waves in the United States. In 2011 summer, they hit the road on tour with none other than Bob Dylan. Jack's connection to music runs deep, not just through his famous father. His story returns to a special moment when he was just a baby. Bono and Bob Dylan performed Knocking on Heaven's Door at a concert at the Point Theatre in Dublin, with Jack's parents in the audience. Bono famously dedicated the song to the unborn child still in Ellen Barkin's womb, saying, "This is to a little boy who hasn't been born yet and is sitting inside his mother in the 4th row. Jack Byrne, this is for you." Many years later, Bono took an interest in Jack's musical tastes. According to Gabriel Byrne, Bono jokingly asked if his son was too into Limp Bizkit. Jack, however, wasn't a fan of the band, nor was he all that fond of U2. Instead, his love for music tilted towards the blues, a genre he discovered when he was just 12 years old. A family member had given him a book about blues music, which recommended 10 essential albums. This began his devotion to blues, country, and old-time music. Around the same time, Jack received his first guitar, and his journey into songwriting and performing began. However, it wasn't until much later that he teamed up with Malcolm Ford, son of Raiders of the Lost Ark star Harrison Ford and screenwriter Melissa Matheson. The two developed a close friendship, ultimately leading to the Dough Rollers formation. Malcolm has a humorous take on their collaboration, joking that Jack ruined my life by introducing him to the blues. But he admits that the simplicity and rawness of blues music captivated him. In an interview, Malcolm said, "For me, it's the primitive aspect of it and the fact that there's no cheating with it that appeals to me." During their peak, the band divided their time between Los Angeles and New York, where Jack's parents and his sister Romy were based. For most of their project, the band focused on original songs that move away from their pre-war blues influences, while hoping to make the music more accessible to a broader audience. Despite Ellen Barkin's highly publicized and bitter divorce from Ron Perelman, Jack and Romy have maintained solid relationships with their mother. Ellen has always been clear about her love for her children and never misses a chance to praise them in interviews. Their relationship with Perelman, however, is less clear. Given his history of legal battles, including one with his daughter, Samantha Perelman, over inheritance, his relationship with Jack and Romy is quite murky. Unlike other celebrities' children, Romy and her brother don't go chasing clout or attract unnecessary controversies themselves. On the contrary, Jack and Romy have managed to avoid major controversies. They have largely stayed out of trouble, focusing on their careers rather than making headlines for the wrong reasons. What do you think about Ellen Barkin? Would you choose her as your role model? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel.